Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. Today's the 3rd of June, 2017, and I put this video up a few weeks ago, and I was taking note of how often we are seeing aliens, extraterrestrials, interstellar things going on in the news, the mainstream media, and all the science and space magazines. Well, I had a theory on that, and it ties into a couple of the Illuminati cards. It ties into a lot of things that ex-presidents have said. It ties into the theory that we are simply a tiny little dot located and surrounded by other tiny little dots, all happenstance. We just happen to evolve, and according to science and according to NASA and according to space, there are other human-like forms that have had the opportunity to evolve for an extra couple of million years, and they call them aliens. Well, they're at it again. This time it's the military fighting space aggressors. Now, this link was sent to me by a subscriber, and I have been watching this anyways because I follow space.com, and here's the headline. Space aggressors train U.S. forces for extraterrestrial conflict. Now, that sounds crazy, right? They're out there in Colorado. They're out there by Area 51, Nellis, White Lake, Groom Lake, all of these places where everyone sees UFOs, UFO activity. Now, notice the heavily chemtrailed clouds are always in the background because that's a new staple. They do that in every single solitary picture because it normalizes it. At any rate, what this article is talking about, in a large tin-roofed warehouse, notice the word tin is in there. That's a subliminal. In a large tin-roofed warehouse near the Rocky Mountains, members of a team of modern space warriors spend their days hatching plots to defeat the U.S. military in extraterrestrial combat. Now, the aggressors that they're alluding to are China and Russia in cyberspace, taking out our thousands and thousands of satellites, so forth and so on. That's what they're alluding to. But if somebody swings by and notices this real quick, space aggressors are training U.S. forces for extraterrestrial conflict. What is that? What's the first thing that puts in your mind? You know what I'm saying? Aliens, little green men, otherworldly people. While we're not in war in space, I don't think we could say we're exactly at peace either, Vice Admiral Charles Richards says, Deputy Commander of U.S. Strategic Command, known as STRATCOM. They're alluding to China, Russia, and other countries. North Korea, according to them, has an EMP, taking out our satellites, knocking the satellites down. But the overtone of fighting aliens, extraterrestrial, is definitely there. This is what they've been pushing for the longest time now. Now, think about this. According to mainstream, according to the military, according to politicians, terrorists are everywhere. They're constantly trying to take us down, and we cannot stop them yet. Now we're turning our eyes to the space. Now, space may be a final frontier, but it is indeed made in a Hollywood basement because I don't believe any of this whatsoever at all. Not only can NASA not go up, which is why they pulled the old, well, we can't go back to the moon card anymore because we destroy the technology and it's just too painful. You know what I'm saying? That came from NASA, not from me.
Go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Now, did you hear what NASA astronaut 𝗏𝗏𝗏 just said? Why isn't that headline news? Why aren't they discussing that all the time? The amount of money allegedly spent on going to the moon, the amount of people that died, the amount of work and technology that went into this earth-shattering thing. We left Earth and went to another planet and landed there and drove a little golf cart around and put a flag up there, according to them. But now magically, suddenly, and wackily enough, 𝗏𝗏𝗏 comes out very off the cuff and says, we can't do that anymore. We used to have the technology, but it's been destroyed. So I don't believe any of this because that statement on its face is laughable and ludicrous. They can't go to the moon because the moon is nothing more than a light. It's not something that can be landed on. So there's that. And then again, putting articles like this out never-endingly. It's a parade of extraterrestrials, ET, aliens, 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 aliens. You know what I mean? And we've known for a long time because the military has leaked it out that they have a thing called Project Bluebeam. Now, I put a story up earlier today where I show another story from another website that's put it out there, and this made it to the mainstream, of what appears to be a beam of light coming through the clouds. But the only issue I have with it is the beam of light comes through the clouds and stays there for a really long time, and it actually does sort of make the image of a human or a person. And you can't just, oh, that's just a cloud. You can't prove that either way. And I didn't say what it was either way, but this could in fact be Bluebeam, because they do have the technology to make holograms in the sky. And it would explain in good part of what the chemtrails are for, because chemtrails, the heavy cloak that they put in the atmosphere like this right here, is a perfect medium for displaying a holographic image on, in my opinion. But at any rate, according to space.com, U.S. forces are training for outer space technology. We can't handle our business on this planet as it is right now, but now we're going to outer space. So it just keeps getting more and more ridiculous, more and more laughable, and that's all there is to it. And take a look at their little symbols. They love their symbolism, man. It's all occult symbolism used throughout the military. When I was in the military, I walked around wearing a uniform that was covered with symbolism. I didn't even realize it at the time, but I do now. At any rate, Richie from Boston, like, share, subscribe, or don't. I am out.